This is the ultimate Feral Druid DPS guide for Phase 2 of Season of Discovery, including rotation, runes, talents, professions, consumables, skill books, rotation, everything you could possibly need. Let's get into it. Starting off with the stat priority, first and foremost, we are going to need that hit chance so that we can hit the boss, of course. Crit chance is going to be the second on our priority list, and then agility and strength, and lastly attack power. Now in Phase 1 we did get a little bit more DPS from strength than we did agility. However, in Phase 2 these are much closer together in the priority. Something else I want to run past you very quickly is the skill books that we now have as druids in Phase 2 of Season of Discovery. First one being Deeper Wilds, reducing the mana cost of Mark of the Wild by 50% and increasing its duration by 50%. This is going to be obtainable from dungeon mobs while we're leveling, etc., and is really just a quality of life improvement. The second one is Revive, meaning you can revive an ally at 15% health and mana, and the third being Enhanced Restoration, meaning your healing spells can also be applied by other druids and yourself at the same time on your targets. Those two we're not going to be using so much as Feral. Before we get into the Biz Gear that we're going to be getting from Nomagon and PvP, etc., let's just have a look at the Pre-Biz Gear that we have available to us. I am going to be showing some items that are both from the pre-raid, so BFD should I say, the raid from Phase 1, and also some other things like Professions and World Drop BOEs. You can see on the head then we've got the Wild Leather Helmet of the Tiger, Tracker's Headband or the Nocturnal Cap, which are World Drops and from Leatherworking. Anything of the Tiger is going to be very useful for us as Feral DPS and is generally going to be pre-biz. You can also get the White Bandit Mask, as you can see here, from tailoring. On the shoulders then, we have the Failed Flying Experiment. And these are actually really amazing. However, these is a quest available at level 40 in Feralers, and it's going to be difficult, okay? You're going to need to do this with a group of people, and whether this is even really possible or not, I'm not actually sure. I do think it should be fine with a full group, but you are of course going to have to get that full group to go and do a random quest in Feralers to get this item, so you're going to have to be quite committed to the cause if you do want this pre-biz item. It is pre-biz after all. What most lazy people are going to do, like myself, is just go and get the Flint Rock Shoulders from Scarlet Monastery, which is a BOE, or the Forest Tracker Epilots, I think is how you pronounce that, which is also a World Drop BOE. Going over onto the right side, again, Forest Pendant of the Tiger is probably going to be a really good one. If you've already been to BFD, you probably already have the High Tide Choker. Or from PvP, there's the Sentinels and Scouts Medallions, which you also may have if you've been doing PvP. On the cloak, you can see there's a few options here. Honestly, I just say get the Sergeant's Cloak from PvP for pre-biz. Like, if you already have that, it's really good. If not, there's an Engineering and a World Drop one that is also really good. Another BOE, again, these are going to be quite expensive, is the Quillwood Harness from Razorfen Downs. And there's also these matching quests for the Blazewind Breastplate for both Horde and Alliance. Don't forget to enchant your chest piece with lesser stats, by the way. On gloves, again, we've got the Arachnid Gloves of the Tiger being really useful here from Razorfen Downs. There's, if you do have leather working, there is the Void Touch leather gloves from Phase 1 that are still going to be really fantastic, especially before we get to our Biz Gear. For the legs, I would really recommend these Imposing Pants of Agility, because these are going to be quite cheap and easy to get. On the rings, as you can see down here, just keep whatever you had from Phase 1 really. The PvP rings are really good in Phase 2 still. However, if you don't have these, there is the Iron Spire's Eye from Scarlet Monastery Graveyard that you can get. And of course, the Marsh Ring of the Tiger. For weapons, it's going to be something like the Bloodbark Crusher. Now, this is actually best in slot. However, I'm including it on pre-biz specifically because it's not from the raid. And therefore it's like, so technically this is like a pre-raid biz list rather than pre-biz, if that makes sense. This is like your leveling journey, PvP rewards, quest rewards, other rewards, things that are available for Nomagon, TLDR. On the idol, keep that Mind Expanding Mushroom from Phase 1. Keep your trinkets, your Avengers Void Pile if you already have it from BFD. If you don't have this, this is from the last boss Akume in BFD. And if you also have a different one, like you have the healing one, for example, and now you're going over to Feral at level 40 in Phase 2, what you can do is actually spend 75 gold in Booty Bay and transfer this over to this Avengers one instead. Again, on the wrist, it's going to be the Forest Stalker's Bracers, which are pretty biz. Again, it's exalted with the Warsong Outriders. Or you could get these dusky ones I would recommend being pretty easy from leatherworking. On the waist, then just get the tiger as well, tracker's belt of the tiger, same as the tracker's headband, for example. And then for the boots, I would just do the Excelsior boots from the Stranglethorn Veil quest here. It's pretty easy to get. Now on to the actual best in slot then. On the head, it is going to be leatherworking. I do recommend you take leatherworking as one of your professions in Phase 2, mainly because of the glowing neuro-linked cowl, which is fantastic, improving your hit by 1%. And when you use it, it can inflict a ton of damage to yourself, but also increasing your melee and range attack speed by 20% for 10 seconds. And it's going to, with equip, give plus 3 weapon damage. This is fantastic. It is best in slot, obviously, because it's the biz list. And yeah, it's from leatherworking. Really great. Nomagon Peace Officers Talk. So these are from Nomagon. Pretty simply, it's going to give you extra crit by 1% and add some attack power. This failed flying experiment is the quest I mentioned in Feralers. If you're not going to do that, even though it is biz, then you can get the Mantle of the Cunning Negotiator. That's a Nomagon drop. The Flint Rock Shoulders are a BOE, could be really expensive on the AH. Or there's also the Forest Tracker Epaulets, which are also BOE, which could be really expensive. But the actual best in slot is the failed flying experiment quest in Feralers. Drape of Dismantling, quite simply, that's from Nomagon. The Insulated set is really cool. Again, it's improving your crit chance by 1%, increasing your daggers by 3, but mainly it's increasing the attack power and cat form by 20, which is obviously phenomenal. Already spoken about these, but the Forest Stalker's Bracers, which is a Warsong Outriders Exalted on the bracers, and again from the Blood Moon PvP event in Stranglethorn Vale is the Bloodbark Crusher. I didn't actually talk about what it does. In cat form, it gives plus 80 attack power, holy moly, and it adds 5 Storm Strike damage to your melee attacks, damaging the target and its nearest air allies, affecting up to 3 targets. Does cause additional threat, however. The Machinist's Gloves, which you can see here, are going to improve your hit chance again by 1%, but the major pull of these ones is it equip is plus 30 attack power when fighting mechanical units, which of course in Nomagon is amazing, and these are from Nomagon. Skullduggery Waistband, pretty simple on this one. It's available from Nomagon. The legs and the boots are the rest of the set pieces from the one that we mentioned with the insulated chest guard. That's how your 3 pieces there. The Hypercharged Gear of Devastation is a unique equipped ring that you can get in Nomagon, and this is going to give you some nature and arcane resistance, agility and strength, and you can only have one of them. Devastation is the one we're going to want as a Feral Druid in Phase 2 of SoD. Protector's Band, so your PvP ring is the other ring you're going to use. Avengers Void Pile is still fantastic from Phase 1. Then we have the Gyromatic Experiment 420B, which you can use to increase your attack speed by 5% on a 30-minute cooldown of some attack power. That's one of your trinkets. And then again, just use that mushroom still. There's nothing really else better. Now let's get on to the really exciting bit, talents and runes. Okay. First up, we're looking at the talents, and I'm going to go straight ahead and put 5 points into the restoration tree for Furor. Gives you a 100% chance to gain 10 rage when you shapeshift into bear and dire bear form, or 40 energy, very important, when you shapeshift into cat form. This is called power shifting if you don't already know, and basically we can shift in and out to get that energy when we go back into cat form, and this is fantastic. Unfortunately, it means that in the feral tree, we can't get down to leader of the pack. However, I do think this is worth it for the huge advantage we get from power shifting. Leader of the pack, which we won't be getting, while in cat form, the leader of the pack increases ranged and melee critical strike of all party members by 3%. Yes, you're being selfish. However, the overall DPS increase of Furor, I do believe, is better from the tests and sims I have ran. So let's actually go into the rest of the talents then that we are putting into Feral. We're going to be using 5 points in Feral Aggression, increasing the attack power reduction of our Demoralizing Roar, and increasing the damage of our Ferocious Bite by 15%. Ferocious Bite is a spell that is going to be one of our combo point spenders, if you don't know. We have combo point generators and spenders. We generate those combo points up and then we spend them. Ferocious Bite is kind of our filler spender. 5 points into Ferocity, reducing the cost of our Maul, Swipe, Claw, and Rake. So basically that's just reducing our energy cost of our abilities. I'm going to put 3 points into Sharpened Claws, increasing our crit chance while in cat form by 6%. After that, I'm going to put the remaining 2 points that we need to get lower into Feline Swiftness. Now, you could put this into Feral Charge if you want to get an interrupt. That's obviously absolutely fine as well. But I do think the movement speed increase while outdoors and the increased dodge chance is really worth it, especially while leveling and all of that, etc., etc. Over that. But it's entirely up to you on those 2 points, in my opinion. we are going to put 2 points into improve shred. Now, this might be a bit of a contentious one. In simming, it's really not sure right now whether we're going to be using shred or not. So when we berserk, which is a cooldown I'm going to come on to shortly, we are either going to be spamming maul, which is something else I'm going to come on to shortly, or we're going to be using maul and shred. And I'm just really not sure which is going to be the best long term. Sorry, not maul, mangle is what I'm saying, not maul, mangle. Mangle and shred. So I think I am going to try using it a lot, but we'll see. Predatory Strikes is an absolute 100%er. It's increasing our melee attack power in Cat Bear and Direfall by 150% of our level. Of course, we're going to take that. Blood Frenzy is going to mean that our crit strikes and from Cat Form abilities that add combo points have a 100% chance to add an additional combo point, meaning we're going to get more combo points to then spend and do more damage. It's just a no-brainer as well. 1 point into Fairy Fire, decreasing the armor of the target for 40 seconds. We want to keep this up on our target as much as possible. It's, of course, fantastic. Really, really good ability here for obvious reasons. Another 2 points going into Savage Fury, increasing the damage caused by our Claw, Rake, Maul, and Swipe abilities. Again, just pure damage increase for us. And lastly, we're going to put 1 point into Heart of the Wild, increasing your intellect by 4%. In addition, while in bear or dire form, your stamina is increased, and while in cat form, your strength is increased. So this is the build we're going to go for. One thing I actually wasn't sure on is, with all the runes we're going to be choosing in a second, if Furor was still really worth it with power shifting, because we're going to get so much energy from some of our abilities. But honestly, I do think power shifting is still absolutely the way to go. So going on to the runes then, we're going to take Wild Strikes on the chest. While in cat form, members within 20 yards gain increased combat ferocity. Each melee hit has a 20% chance of granting the attacker an extra attack with 20% additional attack power. TLDR then, we're going to be increasing our party doing more damage with this, and it's passive. We're putting Savage Roar on our leg rune. It's a finishing move, so we're building up those combo points. We're going to spend it on Savage Roar, increasing physical damage done by 30% while in cat form. We want to use this and keep this up as much as possible. And on the hand rune, we're going to go with Mangle. Mangle the target for 160% normal damage and cause the target to take 30% additional damage from bleed effects and shred for 1 minute. On the new runes for Phase 2, we're going to go with Berserk. When activated, this ability causes your Mangle in Bear ability to hit up to 3 additional targets and have no cooldown, and reduce the energy cost of all your cat form abilities by 50%. Lasts 15 seconds. So the thing is with this, is it's going to be, obviously a massive reduction in our energy cost, and that's a no-brainer. Hence why I was saying about Furor and power shifting and having too much energy, but I really don't think it's going to be a problem. And then lastly, we've got King of the Jungle, where our Tiger's Fury ability now increases all physical damage you deal by 15% instead of a flat value, and instantly grants you 60 energy, and it's no longer on the global cooldown, but it has its own 30-second cooldown, again granting us even more energy, going back to that point that I keep bringing up. So how are we actually going to put this all together then? So the main way we're actually going to be generating our combo points is number 1 up here, Mangle. This is our number 1 combo point generator. Then we have our 3 combo point spenders. Savage Roar. Of course, we're keeping this up as much as possible, like I said previously. Rip is going to put the bleed on the target, and we're going to use this and try and keep that bleed up. If the target is immune to bleeds, we can just go straight onto Ferocious Bite, which I would call our filler spender. Going back to this screen then, we also want to make sure we're putting on Fairy Fire whenever we can to decrease the enemy's armor. We're going to be using our Berserk as per, our Mangle, hitting up to 3 targets and reducing the energy cost of everything else. And then also using King of the Jungle to get that 60 energy back as well, and increasing our physical damage, which is going to be great. Weaving in with all of that then, and sorry, when you're using your Berserk, that is when we're going to be using our Shred as well as our Mangle as well. You do find it's a DPS loss personally for you, then you could just spam Mangle. I do think it's best to try this out for each individual and see how we get on with this. And then, of course, with your Furor, you want to make sure that you are shape-shifting in and out to do your power shifting. However, please remember that you need to make sure that you're not overcapping on energy when you do this. Remember, it's going to give you 40 energy back. So we want to make sure that we're not already at like 60 plus energy so that it's kind of wasted, if that makes sense. Now going on to the Feral Consumables, quite simply, we've got the Elixir of Agility, increasing agility for 15 by 1 hour. We've got the Dragon Breath Chili, occasionally belch flame at enemies, struck in melee for the next 10 mins. And this does actually stack with your food buff as well. There's also the Elixir of Ogre Strength, increasing your strength by 8 for 1 hour. Not agility. Alchemy is a really good profession for you to take because of these, but you can buy these on the auction house. We also can use greater mana potions, of course. Sagefish Delight or Spider Sausage are going to be the best. I would say to go for Spider Sausage as Feral, where you're going to gain 12 stamina and spirit. You can actually farm these spiders very easily for white spider meat, I think it's called, in Duskwallow Marsh. Just go in from the Barrens and go north. There's tons of spiders near the caves up there. And you can get this, I think, at 200 or 205 cooking. Regarding what professions you're going to take, I do recommend level working as per the Biz Gear list, but on the second one, I think it's really up to you. Well, obviously it's up to you, but my opinion would be to either take Enchanting or Alchemy. This is what you get from Enchanting. It's a sigil of innovation, and when you use it for 30 minutes, it's going to increase your attack power by 20. It's on a 30-minute cooldown, and I'm unsure if it actually does persist through death, so could be interesting there on the cooldown. Otherwise, there's the mildly irradiated rejuvenation potion, which restores mana, health, and increases attack power by 40 for 15 seconds. And this is from Alchemy, which is going to be really good as well. So there's level working is the absolute I think you must take, but then I think it is going to be up to you maybe with Alchemy or Enchanting, which you take. Of course, you may just take Skinning because you don't have a ton of gold, but if we're looking at min-maxing here, this is what I would suggest. I hope you guys really enjoyed this guide. This is, in my opinion, everything you need to know for PvE as a Feral Druid in Phase 2. Let me know in your comments below. If you have got any questions or you want to level, dungeon, raid, etc. with people, I have a really big Discord community and we will answer any of your questions you need at all. If you want to go one step further and help support me put these videos out, you can also join my Patreon or YouTube membership where you get these videos live before everyone else the second they go up. And you can also open VIP tickets and get a secret channel access in my Discord where I can help you with WoW log analysis and also importing my UI or setting up your own UI, etc., etc. I can help you with all of those things as a benefit of membership. And I do now actually stream Season of Discovery on my Druid over on Twitch at Javi Heals. There's a link for that in the description as well.